On January 3rd, Indiana legislators convened the second regular session of the 117th Indiana General Assembly. This was a short session in which lawmakers spent 10 weeks at the Capitol addressing non-budgetary issues. A total of 161 bills were enacted. Early on, so-called right-to-work legislation spurred contentious debate and was one of the most divisive issues recently brought before the Indiana General Assembly. First discussed during the 2011 session, the proposal drew thousands of protesters to the State House daily. Republican leaders in both chambers made the bill their top priority, and they went to great lengths to get it approved. Despite reports indicating that the legislation would depress average wages in the state by $1,500 per person per year, create a negative impact on local economies, and interfere with the freedom to make agreements between employers and employees, it was rushed to passage and became effective immediately upon signage on February 1, 2012. During the legislature's second half, lawmakers came together to approve key laws aimed at strengthening Hoosier communities in the areas of education, safety, and health issues. Increased measures were taken to strengthen the state's human trafficking laws by eliminating loopholes and making it easier to prosecute offenders by removing a requirement to prove force or fraud. Senate Enrolled Act 4 includes increased penalties geared to protecting children specifically. For any person who recruits, harbors, or transports a child less than 16 years of age with the intent of engaging the child in forced labor, involuntary servitude, prostitution, or sexual conduct, commits promotion of human trafficking of a minor, a Class B felony punishable by 6 to 20 years in prison. Senate Enrolled Act 273 addresses the Indiana State Fair tragedy that occurred in 2011 when a concert stage collapsed, killing 7 people and seriously injuring dozens of others. The act required that outdoor stage structures be treated for safety regulation purposes as other public buildings or structures, and new rules for this regulation be enacted by the Indiana Fire Prevention and Building Safety Commission. The Act establishes minimum state standards for construction and inspection of these types of temporary stage structures. Additionally, local officials will be able to maintain their own inspection procedures so long as they comply with the minimum standards set forth by the state. Hoosiers who enjoy a smoke-free meal out or smoke-free workplace will breathe easier with the passage of Indiana's first statewide smoking ban. House Enrolled Act 1149 covers most public places, including restaurants and places of employment, and permits cities, towns, and counties to pass stricter standards. The new law exempts bars and taverns, private and fraternal clubs, established cigar and hookah bars, and gaming facilities. Full-day kindergarten will be fully funded under House Enrolled Act 1376. The act will shift resources totaling $80 million from the state's estimated $1.7 billion in reserves to provide a grant for each student enrolled in a full-day kindergarten program during the 2012-2013 school year. Although the appropriation does not provide new funding, it does allow kindergarten to be provided in most schools without parents paying tuition costs. The new law also includes $6 million in additional compensation for victims of last year's state fair tragedy. Senate Enrolled Act 274, commonly known as the Lifeline Bill, addresses the serious safety issues surrounding alcohol and underage drinking on college campuses that sometimes result in injury or death. The Act provides immunity to callers seeking emergency assistance for another person, alleviating fear of penalties for alcohol-related offenses for the caller. The new law will help prevent tragic and preventable outcomes by encouraging young people to report medical emergencies when their friends are in need of assistance. A number of universities statewide and across the nation already have similar campus policies. In addition to the bills proposed this year, legislators honored constituent groups and individuals who have had a positive impact on local Hoosier communities and the state. More than 80 Girl Scouts from around the state participated in the Senate's PAGE program. The Girl Scouts were honored by the Senate in celebration of the Girl Scouts of America's 100th anniversary. Judge Vi Taliaferro, a recently retired circuit court judge who was the first African American to serve as a judge in Monroe County, George Taliaferro, the first African American drafted into the NFL, the Indianapolis Super Bowl Host Committee, and a host of other athletic teams and organizations from around the state were also recognized by the Indiana Senate for their contributions. Numerous issues that failed this session will be assigned to interim committees for further review and study throughout the summer and fall. Based on their findings and recommendations, committee members will propose legislation to be considered during the 2013 legislative session.